for years I've said this, and it's absolutely the truth. I literally, the last 6 years prior to my coming to faith in Jesus, which happened just before I turned 18, actually, halfway through my senior year of high school, it was drugs, sex, music, and food. And you got to eat to live. I've lost like 35 pounds. I'm feeling better than I ever have, so I'm on a good roll there. I'm married to an incredible woman. But the issue of music was an idol. At the time, I wasn't married. I even gave up on girls. I mean, I gave up on everything. I tried to commit suicide. I OD'd a few times. I went through a lot of mess. And when I came to faith in Jesus, it's a long, long story. But John 3:16 popped up in my head. I'd gone to a short little vacation Bible school one summer, and some sweet gray-haired ladies had everybody memorize something, and all the kids, and I ended up memorizing that one. So the night I responded, very long story, but God knocked on my door in Technicolor, and I basically said, "Who are you, and what are you trying to say?" And here comes, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. If you believe in him," which means to trust in, cling to, rely on, you won't perish but have everlasting life. Boom, It's like, what? It took about 3 seconds, but those 6 years before that, if you could do that drug any way except needles, it was in me. If you could get loaded from alcohol, I was there. If there was a way to get in bed with somebody, I'd be there. I mean, it was just, but music was equally an idol and a god. So I came to the Lord, and within a couple of months, I'd written some songs about Jesus and a little bit about my testimony and this and that. And a few months later, nobody preached at me, nothing. I never heard a message on it. But a deep conviction, put your music down. Lay it down. And I've talked to many, many believers who have come through the same journey. And I ended up giving all my gear to a Christian band, and I tore up the songs, even those I'd written about him, about the Lord, because I just felt like there's so much of me in it. It was all about me. How do I feel? How do I look? Who am I impressing? It wasn't about him and others. It was never about the audience. It was about me. And then there came a time when, at the very formation of our community of Jesus people, we had one band, and they were exhausted. There were so many doors open to do concerts, and they needed another band. So one night at a gathering, one of the leaders says, could y'all pray about, starting a group? And because we have all these options to share the gospel, to be out in the street, to do stuff with churches and all the rest, and we've only got one group. Well, there were about 60 musicians, okay? I'm not exaggerating. 2 weeks later, nobody stepped forward. And I started getting this deep conviction, a lot of prayer, searching scriptures, talked to people in leadership that I knew, asked for input. And all I can tell you is I got more confirmation. It was unbelievable, really. And finally it came down to, are you going to obey me or aren't you? Kind of a thing. And I'm like, yeah, but this has been a God in my life. And it's like, well, you're going to get married one day. Sex was a God. Does it have to be now? Food was a God. Does it have to be now? Music had been an idol in your life. Does it have to be now? No, it doesn't have to be. And so there was a breaking and a change of direction. And I have to tell you, the first time I got on a stage with what became ultimately was the formation of Resurrection Band, Res Band, that concert was really different for me, super different. It's hard to express that in words. It was so about, well, some people say an audience of one. Your focus is on the Lord. And then, of course, immediately after your focus is on the people, who's here, what do they need to hear, how do you present what you present, how can you help them, how can you give them something? This is not about them giving anything to you, not accolades, none of that. What can you give? And I love that verse. Jesus said, I'm among you as one who serves. I mean, here's the Lord of the universe saying, I'm among you as one who serves, and I'll wash your feet. John the Baptist, wait a minute, you ought to be, what do you mean, I'm baptizing you? Wow. I shouldn't even, I'm not good enough to untie your sandals. It's just, my whole life changed, really radically changed in a short span of time. And it's been changing ever since.